This is the Google 1 month overview reading for the month of January 2024. It's currently November 20th, 2023, 8:12 p.m. Eastern Time. Google at the time of this reading is currently in the extended hours $138.26. That's USD. And the shuffle video we're about to play for you here in the corner was created on October 25th, 2023 at 1:25 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here. So the overall theme of behavior for Google in January is sideways fluidity. The two of swords on a scale of like a 1 month or larger is going to be price swings, sideways fluctuation with like equal amounts of up and down. So notable price swings. And that also kind of holds true to the story when we see the crossing card correlate to both the highest high and lowest low significators. The Princess of Swords indicating that there's a resistance level that's involved in pretty prominently throughout the month of January. There's a resistance level that's involved, and there's a lot of price change involved around that resistance. The type of price change or chart behavior, I should say, that takes place or surrounding that resistance level allows for one to play both directions, either first bullish and then bearish, or vice versa. We'll see as we get into this reading in more detail which one of those it ends up being. Behavior around the highest high, we have sideways rotation near the high. We rise to meet the nearest resistance, and then we fall back down and continue rotating sideways along the same support. And then behavior around the low, there'll be overwhelming headwinds or significant sharp behavior, significantly bearish sharp behavior, and or overwhelming headwinds. Either way, in the face of that, will still move higher. So it'll be kind of like a surprising move to the upside out of the low. Before we go any further, guys, I want to make sure everybody's aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. I was a Wall Street broker years ago. I found myself there, had a near-death experience while working on Wall Street, opened my eyes, my third eye wide open. I realized, hey, I don't belong here. I never did, even before the change. But the point is I was like, there's a reason for everything, because there really is. There's a reason for everything. My reason was, hey, I'm supposed to take some of this energy and transmute it into goodwill. So that's what we're doing here, guys. That's the whole purpose of the channel, is to transmute the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. And we do that by following the rule of karma, the unwritten rule of between the channel and the universe and the people utilizing the channel for profit. It's the rule of karma. You take 5% of all profits that you make from information on this channel, and you donate it forward to one of these charities. Just click here and donate. 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel here at one of these links. It leaves you with 90%, way more than a stockbroker would leave you with. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you follow those rules, that's the rule of karma for the channel. The universe is going to send it back to you tenfold for being an angel investor. Neglect to do so, and the universe will neglect to do the same, my friends. Let's get back into it. We want to make sure that we understand, like, each one of these cards going horizontally from left to right represents about 1 day of time, but not each card's energy is going to line up perfectly with 1 day of time. So you have to give it about plus or minus a day here or there. For the most part, if not the whole time, the reading will be on point. But in cases where it's not, pay attention to the sequence of events. The sequence of events doesn't change, and that will keep you on track in cases where we're off plus or minus by a day or so. We're closed on the 1st, obviously, for New Year's. All right, so here there's a prominent trough for the month here, first thing in the morning on the 2nd. I'm advised to be cautious on the 2nd. A lot of back and forth behavior or multiple false tops or bottoms, some sort of tricky behavior like that. It would create an opportunity to make the wrong trade. So be very cautious there. On the 3rd, we have a resistance level that's highlighted on a 1 month chart scale. The Peace card is that usually it's a pretty flat kind of day. On the 4th, we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance followed by a decline through key support. It's the type of resistance that you expect to break through because previous chart behavior would lead you to believe, previous technicals would lead you to believe you're going to break through. So it's kind of like disappointing when you don't, and instead you decline through a key support level, taking us into a prominent trough again for the month there towards the end of the day on the 4th. On the 5th, we have a notable move higher out of a trough to a prominent peak or crest for the month, and then we revisit that crest or peak there again, that price level towards the end, the beginning of the day on the 8th most likely, and decline pretty notably into the 9th. There's a lot of trade opportunity there on the 8th and the 9th, even a day trade opportunity there, and we'll talk about that in more detail in the paid version. Before we go any further, guys, let's take a look at November and see how we're doing for the Google prediction thus far. So we had a lowest low possibility here around the 3rd and another one here around the 14th. Looks like we did the same. We had the same issue that we had with S&P 500 where we missed it by a couple days, but we did have that lowest early in the month, possibly seeing it again on the 14th. We didn't see it again on the 14th. We had a big move to the upside, and like from the 13th into the 14th, there's that breakout card, and you can see we had a notable breakout there. It ended up being a pretty bearish day. It's actually a prominent trough considering we moved to the upside and then we come back down, right? So there's a prominent trough in there, and then we move higher following that. That looks pretty solid. We're looking for a highest high. Well, we had a highest high on the 16th, the high side thus far on the 16th. Boom, nailed that. And we most likely have a higher high thus far there on the 24th. Possible we see it again one more time towards the last week, but this is a pretty accurate reading thus far. And if you had the paid version and you were utilizing this to trade, you would have opened up a long position on the 3rd. So it would have been a little off as far as timing on the 1 day chart, but on the 3rd we would open up a long position, and that long position we would have held until the 10th. Boom, and that would have been a pretty solid trade. 130 to so $4. On the 16th, there's a trade from a trough early in the day. You could have done a day trade late in the day. That's definitely a day trade kind of day. Same thing the prior day on the 17th. We had this decline that ends with a fast sudden move higher, and there's a day trade opportunity. My God, this was a really accurate reading. Aside from missing the low by a couple of days, pretty solid reading, guys, especially the trades there. Guys, if you're interested in the paid version, it's a really great way to support the channel. You get in the paid version is not just where the highest highs and lowest lows are for the month. We're usually accurate about that. Not always, but most of the time. Highest highs and lows to the day, but also the best trades and what to look for as far as chart behavior for entry and exit points. You also get any trades that are relevant on a multi-month scale or even on a multi-year scale when relevant relevant. You get price level information when we're able to extrapolate that. Its performance relative to the S&P 500 as well. All that in the paid version. Again, a great way to support the channel. And the way that you get the paid version, you go to our website, tarotfortraders.com, or hover over our services, click on SO Meta Post, scroll down the monthly subscription, click here to order. For Google, the only way that you can get the paid version of Google is with the all paid version subscription, which gives you 30 days access to the paid version of all of these ticker symbols in crypto, as well as Amazon, Google, and Nvidia. So it's $250 a month. Really great way to support the channel, and it's a steal compared to a singular subscription for any one of these tickers, which is $111 a month. Very, very underpriced, especially if you're utilizing this information to trade. You should be making some serious money. For the most part, we're right. We're not right all the time, so it's important to trade responsibly. But thank you to everybody that goes ahead and does it. We know the names of literally the names of everybody that does this because they're the core foundation of financial support for the channel. They're a really big part of Tarot for Traders and our mission here to transmute the stock market energy into goodwill. Also, mind blow people who don't think this type of thing is possible. We're predicting the stock market with tarot cards. To put it very simply, it's a lot more complicated than that. But to the average Joe, they're going to look at it and say, oh my God, with tarot cards. Blow their minds. If you can show somebody that something is possible, which they thought was impossible, you've just expanded their consciousness, my friends, in more ways than you comprehend. I promise you that. Decline on the 9th, opportunity there. There's probably even a day trade opportunity there. And then on the 10th, there is a important support level on like a 1 year chart scale minimum and a trough at the end of the day that forms from a sharp decline. On the 11th, a pop and drop. Looks like we end up in a lower trough on the cusp of the 11th, 12th, and then a notable move to the upside to another prominent peak or crest on a 1 month chart there towards the end of the day on the 12th. On the 15th, we have off for Martin Luther King Day, and there's a notable decline on the 16th through multiple support levels continuing into the 17th. A day trade opportunity on the 17th. I'll talk about that in more detail in the paid version. A peak or crest, a prominent peak or crest on a 1 month chart scale, midday to early afternoon on the 17th. Rallying on the 18th, that offers opportunity. We'll talk about in the paid version. On the 19th, volatility and a sharp drop that stands out in that period of volatility. On the 22nd, we have 3 pokes through the same, what's usually a horizontal price level. It could be, in some cases, a bearish trend line, diagonal trend line, but 3 pokes through that same trend line followed by a sharp drop off of that third poke. Trade opportunity on the 23rd in the midst of an overbought peak or crest that we sell off from pretty notably. I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. A rally into a key resistance level on the 24th, key resistance on a one chart scale, and we decline from that resistance with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down into the 25th. 25th is pretty mixed, back and forth going on within a channel. On the 26th, we're rallying along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance to meet a second resistance, and then we pull back to somewhere between those 2 price levels. On the 29th, we have a notable decline to revisit a support level important on the 1 month chart that we revisited, or that we visited recently once before. Hard to say where that resistance was visited though, hard to say. Maybe on the 25th. Towards the end of the day on the 28th, we have a notable move higher to a peak. It won't be as high as some of the other peaks, but it'll be a notable move into it. And then on the 30th, we have a fast move higher in a 1 month chart scale, taking us to another peak or crest on a 1 month chart. Peak on the 31st that we have a notable sell-off from, and it's a peak, not a crest. A peak that we sell off from pretty notably early in the day on the 31st. Sneak preview for February is there's a prominent trough on a 1 year chart scale that's highlighted there in February. We also may have highs and lows, like prominent highs and lows there as well. It looks kind of mixed. We'll talk about that in more detail as we progress into the February reading. And that's Google for January 2024. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. And thank you so much. As always, if you haven't done so, please subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And make sure to follow that rule of karma. You know where to go. You know what to do. Blessings to all my angel investors. Stay tuned if you got the paid version. I'll see you on the next one.